Hello, dear friend watching me right now. Have you ever stopped to think that those exercises you do with so much effort, believing you are taking care of your health, may actually be overloading your heart? That's right. There are some movements that, especially after the age of 60, can pose a real risk to your heart health, rather than strengthening it. And what's most concerning is that many professionals continue to recommend these exercises without considering the natural changes that happen in our bodies as we age. Have you noticed how you get winded, your heart races, or you even feel dizzy after certain exercises? You may have thought this is normal, that it's part of the effort, but in fact, your body is sending important signals that should not be ignored. For years, women over 60 have been following generic recommendations created by people who don't really understand the specific needs of our bodies at this stage of life. As a result, many of us end up facing heart problems that could have been avoided. Today, I want to share with you which exercises are potentially dangerous and, more importantly, what you can do instead to keep your heart healthy without putting it at risk. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal not only the exercises you should avoid, but also gentle and effective alternatives that will bring real benefits to your cardiovascular health. Let's start by talking about a problem that affects many women our age, but is rarely discussed adequately. As we age, our cardiovascular system undergoes natural changes. Artery walls tend to become less elastic, the heart may not pump blood as efficiently as before, and our ability to recover after intense exertion decreases. These are normal changes, part of the journey of life, but they require adjustments in the way we exercise. The problem is that many exercise programs do not take these changes into account. They continue to treat our bodies as if they were 30 or 40 years old, ignoring the specific needs that arise after 60. And that is precisely where the danger lies. When we push our heart beyond what it is prepared to withstand, we increase the risk of serious problems such as arrhythmias, blood pressure spikes, and even more serious cardiac events. You may have heard stories of people who have suffered a heart attack during or shortly after exercising. Most of the time, this happens because the activity was inappropriate for that person's cardiovascular condition. I'm not saying this to scare you, but to alert you to the importance of choosing the right exercises for this stage of life. After all, we want physical activity to be an ally to our health, not a threat to it. Have you ever felt your heart racing alarmingly during exercise? Have you ever felt like you couldn't catch your breath even after stopping the activity? Or perhaps you've experienced dizziness, blurred vision, or extreme fatigue that lasted for hours or even days after exercising. I know that it often seems like no one really understands what you're going through. Every day is a silent struggle that few recognize. I would love to hear more about your experience. Share in the comments by writing, "I feel my heart racing when I do intense exercise." Your comment can help other women realize that they are not alone on this journey. Sometimes, just knowing that other people are going through the same thing as you brings great relief. Now, let's talk about the 5 exercises you should avoid to protect your heart. The first one is high-intensity running or sprinting. Many fitness programs, including those available on the internet, recommend these bursts of speed as a way to improve cardiovascular capacity. However, for women over 60, this type of exercise poses a significant risk. When we run at high speed, the pressure on the heart increases dramatically. The organ needs to pump blood much faster to feed the muscles that are working intensely, which can dangerously raise blood pressure and heart rate. In addition, these intense runs put considerable stress on the joints, especially the knees and hips, which may already be more sensitive due to decreased bone density and natural cartilage wear. Many women who insist on this type of exercise end up suffering not only from heart problems but also from joint injuries that can limit their mobility for weeks or even months. Instead of intense running, an excellent alternative is walking at a steady, moderate pace. Walking regularly has numerous benefits for the heart without overloading it. This gentler exercise allows the cardiovascular system to work efficiently, improving blood circulation and gradually strengthening the heart muscle while respecting its natural limits. Try walking for 30 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week, at a pace that allows you to talk without getting out of breath. Over time, You will notice a significant improvement in your endurance and overall well-being. The second exercise that should be avoided is burpees and other similar explosive movements. Burpees are exercises in which you squat, place your hands on the floor, throw your legs back into a plank position, return to the squat position, and finish with a jump. This movement is very demanding on the body, especially the cardiovascular system. When we perform explosive movements like these, there is a sudden spike in blood pressure and heart rate, which can be particularly dangerous for women over 60. In addition, the rapid change in position from squatting to jumping can cause dizziness due to the sudden change in blood flow to the brain. This increases the risk of falls, which are a real danger at this stage of life. There are many stories of women who have suffered serious injuries from losing their balance during these intense exercises. Instead of burpees, opt for low-impact strengthening exercises, such as gentle squats without jumps. They work the same muscle groups, but in a much safer way. You can do 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions, keeping your feet firmly on the ground, and only lowering yourself as far as is comfortable for your knees. This type of exercise strengthens your legs and core without putting your heart at risk, as well as improving balance and stability, which is essential for preventing falls in everyday life. The third exercise to avoid is lifting very heavy weights. Although strength training is important at any age, lifting excessively heavy weights after age 60 can pose a significant danger to the heart. When we exert intense force to lift a weight, we tend to hold our breath, a phenomenon known as the Valsalva maneuver. This action dramatically increases intrathoracic pressure, which in turn raises blood pressure abruptly. For a heart that may no longer be as elastic as it once was, this sudden spike in pressure poses a considerable risk. In addition, extreme exertion can trigger cardiac arrhythmias or even cause small tears in the heart's muscle fibers in more severe cases. Instead of very heavy weights, the recommendation is to work with light to moderate weights and increase the number of repetitions. This way, you can strengthen your muscles without overloading your heart. For example, instead of doing 5 repetitions with a weight that requires maximum effort, do 15 to 20 repetitions with a weight that allows you to maintain good form throughout the exercise. This approach is not only safer for the heart, but also more effective for maintaining muscle mass and functional strength at this stage of life. The fourth exercise to avoid is high-intensity spinning or indoor cycling classes. These classes typically involve peaks of maximum effort, with the instructor encouraging participants to pedal as fast as possible, often standing on the pedals and with high resistance. For women over 60, this combination can be dangerous. The extreme effort required to keep up with the pace of these classes dramatically raises heart rate and blood pressure, placing excessive strain on the heart. In addition, the leaning position on the handlebars of the bike can compress abdominal organs and make it difficult to breathe properly, which ends up further overloading the cardiovascular system. It is not uncommon for people to experience worrying symptoms during these classes, such as chest pain, extreme shortness of breath, or intense dizziness. Instead of high-intensity spinning classes, opt for stationary cycling at a moderate and steady pace. You can use an exercise bike at home or at the gym, controlling your own pace and resistance. The ideal is to maintain a cadence that allows you to pedal comfortably for 20 to 30 minutes without becoming excessively breathless. This type of moderate aerobic exercise has excellent benefits for the heart, improving circulation and cardiorespiratory capacity without the risks associated with high-intensity versions. The fifth and final exercise to avoid is traditional abdominal exercises, especially those that involve complete flexion of the trunk, such as sit-ups. Although many women continue to do these exercises in the hope of keeping their abdominals firm, they can be harmful not only to the spine but also to the heart. When performing traditional abdominal exercises, we tend to hold our breath and strain, which, as I mentioned earlier, raises blood pressure. In addition, compression of the abdominal organs during the movement can hinder venous return to the heart, temporarily altering blood flow in an unfavorable way. For women who already have a heart condition, even if it is mild or undiagnosed, this change can pose a risk. Another problem is that these exercises often cause tension in the neck and shoulders, areas where many of us already accumulate tension throughout the day, which can further restrict proper circulation to the brain. Instead of traditional sit-ups, try modified plank exercises, or isometric sit-ups. These movements strengthen the core without the need to repeatedly flex the spine or exert excessive force. A good option is the knee-supported plank, holding the position for 15 to 30 seconds and gradually increasing the time as you get stronger. Another alternative is deep breathing exercises with abdominal contraction, which gently and effectively strengthen the internal muscles of the abdomen without negatively impacting the heart or spine. Now that we know which exercises to avoid, let's talk about how to build a physical activity routine that is safe and beneficial for the heart after age 60. The first key point is to understand that regularity is much more important than intensity. Moderate exercise, performed frequently, has far greater benefits than intense, sporadic sessions. Our heart responds better to constant, progressive stimulation than to occasional peaks of effort. An ideal approach would be to combine light to moderate aerobic activities, such as walking, swimming, or gentle dancing, with strengthening exercises using light weights or your own body weight. This combination helps maintain cardiovascular health while preserving muscle mass, which naturally tends to decrease with age. Another important aspect is the inclusion of flexibility and balance exercises, such as yoga or Tai Chi. These practices not only help maintain joint range of motion and prevent falls, but also have a calming effect on the nervous system, which indirectly benefits the heart. Chronic stress is a known risk factor for heart disease, and activities that promote relaxation help control it naturally. An often overlooked but extremely important element is proper warm-up before any physical activity. As we age, our tissues become less elastic and need more time to prepare for exercise. A good warm-up, lasting at least 10 minutes, allows the heart to gradually increase its rate and blood to be efficiently distributed to the muscles that will be used. Similarly, cooling down after exercise, with a few minutes of light movement followed by gentle stretching, allows the heart to return to its normal rhythm gradually, avoiding sudden drops in blood pressure that can cause dizziness and discomfort. Always remember to listen to your body when practicing any physical activity. Signs such as shortness of breath disproportionate to the effort, chest pain or pressure, severe dizziness, palpitations, or extreme fatigue are warnings that should not be ignored. If you experience any of these symptoms, stop exercising immediately and consult a healthcare professional. It is important to differentiate between normal discomfort associated with physical exertion and signs that may indicate a heart problem. In addition to proper exercise, there are other measures we can take to keep our hearts healthy after age 60. Diet, for example, plays a crucial role. A diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats provides the nutrients necessary for the proper functioning of the cardiovascular system. Foods such as avocados, extra virgin olive oil, nuts, omega-3, rich fish, seeds, and dark green leafy vegetables are particularly beneficial for the heart. At the same time, it is important to reduce the consumption of ultra-processed foods, rich in refined sugars, trans fats, and sodium, which can contribute to inflammation, increased blood pressure, and plaque buildup in the arteries. Adequate hydration is also essential. With advancing age, the sensation of thirst may decrease, leading many women to drink less fluid than necessary. However, dehydration can make the blood thicker and more difficult for the heart to pump, increasing the risk of cardiovascular problems. Therefore, it is recommended to drink water regularly throughout the day, even if you do not feel thirsty. Stress management is another key aspect of heart health. We know that chronic stress increases the production of hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, which at high and constant levels can damage artery walls and increase blood pressure. Practices such as meditation, deep breathing, yoga, and Tai Chi, which I mentioned earlier, are excellent tools for reducing stress. But other activities can also be beneficial, such as enjoyable hobbies, contact with nature, positive social interaction, and even artistic expression. Finding moments of joy and tranquility in our daily lives is not a luxury, but a necessity for our heart health. Quality sleep is equally important. During deep sleep, the body performs repair and regeneration processes, including those related to the cardiovascular system. In addition, sleep deprivation is associated with increased blood pressure, inflammation, and insulin resistance, all of which are risk factors for heart disease. Creating a relaxing bedtime routine, keeping your bedroom dark and quiet, and avoiding screens and heavy meals in the hours before bedtime are strategies that can help improve your sleep quality. We cannot fail to mention the importance of regular medical checkups. Preventive exams can detect changes in heart health before they become serious problems. Periodic blood pressure measurements, blood tests to check cholesterol and glucose levels, and specific heart evaluations, such as electrocardiograms, are valuable tools for monitoring cardiovascular health. If you plan to start or change your exercise routine, it is recommended that you consult a doctor first, especially if you have any pre-existing conditions or are taking medication. A professional can advise you on the types and intensity of activities that are most appropriate for your specific condition. Remember that every body is unique, with its own history and needs. What works for a friend or family member may not be ideal for you. That's why personalization is essential when it comes to heart care after age 60. Now, I would like to share with you a weekly exercise routine that is safe and beneficial for the hearts of women over 60. This routine combines different types of activities to provide complete physical conditioning without overloading the cardiovascular system. To start, I recommend 2 or 3 days of 30-minute walks at a moderate pace. As I mentioned earlier, walking is one of the safest and most effective exercises for the heart. You can do this outdoors, enjoying nature and sunlight, which also contribute to overall well-being and vitamin D production, or on a treadmill if you prefer, or if the weather is not favorable. The important thing is to maintain a pace that allows you to talk without getting out of breath, which indicates that you are at the ideal intensity for your heart. On 2 days of the week, I suggest strengthening exercises using light weights or your own body weight. This includes movements such as gentle squats, push-ups against a wall or standing with your hands on a table, lateral arm raises with light weights, and upper back exercises, which help improve posture. Each exercise can be done in 2 or 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions, always respecting your limits and maintaining good technique. To complete the week, set aside 1 or 2 days for flexibility and balance activities, such as yoga or Tai Chi. These practices not only improve mobility and reduce the risk of falls, but also help control stress, which indirectly benefits the heart. There are many classes available specifically for people over 60, with movements adapted to the needs and limitations of this age group. If you prefer to practice at home, there are several videos and apps that offer guided routines. The most important thing is to find an instructor or program that respects the characteristics of the mature body and does not encourage postures or transitions that may be risky. Remember that it is essential to include at least 1 full day of rest in your week. Rest is as important as exercise for heart health, as it allows tissues to recover and assimilate the benefits of the activities performed. On that day, you can do light activities such as a short, gentle walk or basic stretching, but without requiring significant effort from the body. One aspect that is often overlooked but makes all the difference to heart health is breathing during exercise. Breathing correctly not only provides the necessary oxygen to the muscles, but also helps control blood pressure and heart rate during physical activity. The general rule is to exhale during exertion and inhale during the relaxation phase of the movement. For example, when doing a squat, inhale as you descend and exhale as you rise. This technique helps to avoid the Valsalva maneuver, which I mentioned earlier, reducing stress on the heart. In addition, deep, conscious breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxing the body, helping to maintain blood pressure and heart rate at appropriate levels during exercise. Practicing diaphragmatic breathing, which involves expanding the abdomen as you inhale, is especially beneficial for women over 60, as it increases respiratory efficiency and reduces tension in the neck and shoulders, areas commonly affected by stress and poor posture. Have you noticed how small changes can make a big difference in your health and well-being? How have you been feeling after exercising? Have you noticed any of the warning signs I mentioned during your physical activities? Share your experience in the comments by writing, "I changed my exercise routine and noticed that." Your story may be exactly what another woman needs to read to make an important decision about her own health. We are a community, and together we can learn and grow, finding the best ways to care for our hearts with wisdom and respect. Throughout this video, we talk about exercises that can be harmful to the hearts of women over 60 and present safer and equally effective alternatives. We saw that high-intensity running can be replaced by regular walking, burpees, and explosive exercises by gentle, controlled squats, heavy weightlifting by sets with lighter weights and more repetitions, intense spinning classes by moderate-paced stationary cycling, and traditional sit-ups by modified planks and isometric exercises. In addition, we discuss the importance of a holistic approach to heart health, which includes proper nutrition, hydration, stress management, quality sleep, and regular medical follow-up. We understand that at this stage of life, our bodies have specific needs that must be respected, and that regularity and moderation are more important than intensity when it comes to heart-healthy exercise. The most important thing we discussed today is that you understand that taking care of your heart does not mean giving up an active and enjoyable life. On the contrary, by choosing the right exercises and adopting healthy habits, you are ensuring more years of quality life, independence, and well-being. Our bodies are wise and send us constant signals about what is beneficial and what is harmful. Learning to listen to these signals and respect them is one of the greatest demonstrations of self-love we can practice. You, who have accumulated decades of experience and wisdom, deserve care that honors your history and enhances your future. If you identify with what we talked about today and would like to continue discovering natural ways to take care of your heart and your overall health, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Every week, I share discoveries, techniques, and solutions that have helped thousands of women like you regain their quality of life without relying on aggressive treatments. Just click on the subscribe button below. It costs nothing, but it can be the first step toward a new phase of well-being in your life. And by activating the bell, you will be notified whenever we have new information that can make a difference in your daily life. We are together on this journey, and every week I want to be here, talking to you, bringing answers and comfort to your most important questions. Remember, your heart has been beating for you your entire life, never stopping, not even for a second. Now, more than ever, it's time to repay that unconditional love with proper care. You are not alone on this journey. Thousands of women like you are discovering that it is possible to stay active, healthy, and full of vitality after the age of 60, as long as they respect the wisdom of their own bodies. Take care of your heart with the same love and dedication you have always offered others throughout your life. You deserve this care, respect, and attention. See you in the next video, with more valuable information for your health and well-being. Until then, keep your heart beating strong, but without unnecessary strain. A warm hug, and see you soon.